Fear doesn't stop us from doing anything. It gives us the signal that we need to act on something. And this can also be a reason of stress. Stress is also very similar. Like Jeff Bezos has quoted once or has said something about stress. I'm going to butcher it slightly, but he says whenever you're stressed, it's usually because there's something that you need to do that you're not doing, right? So you just need action. And that's why everybody that's achieved anything great, they're just like, just take action. And whenever I'm stressed, I can also prove that every time. It's just because I need to take action on something. It's not because I need to go and sit on the couch and relax, or I need to, I don't know, if I do anything else but the action that gets rid of the stress, it will just make me more stressed. Or maybe it's not more stressed, but I'll just keep sitting in stress. And reframing this back to what I was talking about just now with fear, the fear might not give us a signal to stop as which we were taught. Or, we're maybe naturally taught from a younger age. We've always had this idea that the fear makes it so we can't do something, or we're just too afraid to do something, which is really not the case. I mean, using fear as an excuse, it comes to your own decisions. You're deciding that fear will let you stop from doing something. Say, if you weren't very fearful about it, but you were very, excited about it. You were very, just happy about doing this thing, or you just had a different emotion that you've already targeted as like a positive, or you've already told yourself it's like a positive emotion, and that every time you have that positive emotion, you're okay to act, or it's easier to act. But in the case of a negative emotion that you say is a negative emotion, which I don't really like to believe it's true, and I'm going to explain why, is that you say fear stops you from doing something to keep you maybe protected on something, which is not true. Every time I've seen fear or felt fear and seen what I was fearful of, most of the time it was a signal that I needed to act on it. Most of the time it was the signal that that was the direction I needed to go. And most of the time, if I acted on it and I got the results from it, it ended up being really good results. It ended up making me better. It ended up pushing me closer to my goals. It ended up pushing me closer to who I want to be. And as I've learned that and practiced that more and more, it's now making me reframe the idea of what fear is. And at the end of this video, I hope you can also take this one yourself, and maybe you're going to actually see fear as a good thing, and that you'll want more fear, just as a lot of other negative emotions you might have attached to certain things throughout your life. And what I like to see fear as now is like, what if it's just excitement? What if it's just, it's uncertainty, right? Like you're fearful because it might be new, because you've never done it before. But if it's something you've never done before, if it's just like hard conversation, if it's a hard thing to do because you don't know the outcome of it, maybe that's exactly what you need to do, because it's something new. It's something you don't know. So you need to figure it out. And the only way by figuring it out is by doing it. And so leaning into that fear is actually going to push you closer to where you want to go. And so now it's framing the idea that fear is actually a positive thing. It's telling us exactly where we lack. It's telling us exactly where we need to go. It's telling us exactly the actions we might need to take. Because we're never really fearful of the things we're comfortable with. If we're, say, if we've lived in the same house for years and it's a comfortable house, you have everything in it. You have a clean area, you can cook, clean, sleep, watch TV. You can pretty much do anything you want, and you'll feel comfortable and protected, and you won't have any worries, right? But now think about if you were to step outside that house and start building a new foundation. And I want to frame this in a way of like, if you're trying to go a different path, a new path, or build something within you that is new, that has never been touched before, you're entering new territory of, your mind or your skills or, your ability to do something. If you're entering a new area of achievement, right, you have never touched that ground. Like, it's not the home you're used to. And so when you go out and maybe you're starting to actually build a new house, but that new house to start building, at the beginning, like, you have nothing. You can't sit on the couch. You have to play in dirt and move dirt around and start setting the foundation, pouring the foundation, right? It's not like comfortable work. It's not a comfortable home yet. And it can be, not a great area to sleep in or try to eat food in or make food, right? You don't have a kitchen yet. And so where we're comfortable, obviously, is where we're never going to grow because nothing new is happening. And for growth to happen, new things have to happen. Different things than what we're doing already. Because if what we're doing already is just going to create the same results we have and keep us in the same place we are. If we ever wanted to be in a different place, you have to change what you're doing. Change the direction, change what you're doing, opening up a new territory, set a new foundation. And setting that new foundation is super hard because we haven't set new foundation. Like, a brand new foundation was set when you were born, right? When you started taking your first steps, like, those were like the foundations that we've just normalized and become comfortable with. But sometimes we forget that those standards of comfort we've been sitting in for years and decades, maybe, that we've never been able to experience that new foundation again because we've been just operating in the same home as we've had, because that new foundation had to be set like so many years ago. And if you're someone that has been in the same position for many years, this is what it will feel like. It's like you haven't set a new foundation for years. And so the people that grow the most are always stretching, are always leaning into fear, are always pushing themselves in areas that they might feel anxious or scared to do something, or it's if everybody puts a negative emotion towards it as like a blocker, as a wall or a stop sign, when in fact it's the sign that tells you if you're wanting to grow and do something different, then you need to go this direction. If you're wanting a different result, you need to go to this direction. If you want the same result, then you don't go. That's what that fear is telling you. It's like, if you want exactly what you want right now, like if you want exactly where you are right now, then yeah, don't do that thing. Right? Like if you've never jumped off a cliff to jump into water. Like I've gone to swimming holes where you can jump off like 20-foot, 30-foot heights and you jump into the water. And if you've never done that before, you've never jumped up something that high, it's new to you, and you might even have a fear inside of you, like, what is gonna happen when I hit the water? Am I gonna hurt myself? Am I gonna hit the water weird? Like, what does that kind of fall do to you? Or maybe the water itself, like, is the water cold? Am I gonna feel pain, right? You start coming up with all these ideas of why you should stay where you are and not, make a change and take action on something new. But then after you do it, like the first time, it might shake out, the foundations. It's like you built that foundation. You're like, okay, I did it once. But then it takes many times to just become comfortable with it, like it's just like an everyday thing that you were doing. And then it will become a standard of where you're at. And you're like, well, yeah, of course I can do it. And that's where the growth comes from. And so I think it's an amazing indicator Like, fear is an amazing indicator that we've been using in the opposite way, in the wrong way. Like, we've been using it as something to put up a stop sign, when it's been an indicator all along that we're treading new territory. That's all it means. Is if, like, we're trying to be better, we're treading new territory, and if you're wanting to do that, you want to grow, then that's exactly where you need to go. You need to lean into that fear, lean into that action that you're fearful of. It's giving you the sign. Like, if you're asking, how can I grow right now? What are you afraid of? And that will tell you. You know, when you're going about your day, or maybe you know, if you're a business owner, you might have to have a hard conversation with an employee. Or you might have to have a hard conversation, you know, with your partner, or, you know, with a friend or family member. It's like, maybe that's what you need to do. Are you fearful of it? Maybe, right? And if you aren't fearful of it, it's probably just an everyday thing that you do anyways. So you wouldn't even be thinking about it, because you wouldn't have to grow in that area. It wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be something that needs to be done, because it's already being done. Like, fear is the indicator of, like, we need to do something. We need to do this. And as you become more aware of this, and maybe you practice it yourself, you realize, wow, like, what are the other things I'm afraid of that, you know, on the other side of the fear is the results I want. On the other side of feeling this emotion, it's guiding me to exactly where I need to go. So, like, now fear is just positive. Anxiety, like, you can attach this to anything. Like, we're anxious, but are we really anxious? Like, what are we anxious of? Well, it's probably because it's a new thing. Like, we're uncertain. We're in new territory. We don't know the outcomes. And that's what makes it beautiful, because then we can lean into it and figure out the outcomes. But you won't figure it out if you don't do it. And we're afraid that end result is going to hurt us in some way. Or, you know, maybe it's going to embarrass you, which then can also be broken down. It's like, what is embarrassment to you? Like, why is that a bad thing? And then over a longer period of time, like, think about a past experience you could have been embarrassed about. Does anybody really care? Will you care when you're 80? Will you attach more to the embarrassment or the fear? Which one will you regret? Like, which emotion would you actually regret more? And then maybe getting through the fear is exactly where we can feel the positive. And you might be feeling more negative right now by not moving, by not changing, by not growing, by not pushing that direction, leaning into the fear. Because now you're someone that wants to grow, you're someone that wants to be better, but you're not leaning into the opportunities that would do that for you. And so now it's worse, because the fear would be an actually positive outcome instead of a negative outcome. It just feels weird right now. And then you start to accept that feeling. And you're like, I want to feel this more. Because every time I feel this way, I get a positive outcome. And the more positive outcomes you get with anything, signals to your mind and trains your mind to remember those positive outcomes attached to that thing. So then it creates it into a positive and not a negative. And then, of course, that's when your mind is trained to feel comfortable with it. Because now every time you do it, you get a good result, not a bad result. You know, it made you feel good. You got something out of it. And fear is not, it's not like something that we always just... Fear isn't the only emotion that is directing us to where we need to go. There's a lot of emotions that we can attach this to, and then figure out how to actually break down is like, is this actually a problem? And are we attaching these connotations around these certain emotions or how we feel to drive us to where we want to go, like, or to keep us from driving to where we want to go? Like, are you going to let yourself do that? Are you defining and labeling something as being fear when it's not really fear? It's just that it's an exciting new thing that could get you to be exactly who you want to be, but you're not that person right now. So you're like, dang, like I can actually grow and be the person I want to be, but this is what it feels like. Oh, cool. So this is going to tell me exactly, who I want to be versus who I am. And instead of attaching the fear signal to like the total opposite, we can easily make the change. And all the other emotions as well, like, or anything that we might have, feeling in the process, because it will always be hard. Because for some reason it's just always hard to do new things for humans. Like I think that's just built into us. Like it's always hard for us to do new things, and then maybe broken down, there's a reason why we think that is a hard thing versus it could be an easy thing, but society has taught us it's a hard thing, because then it's like put so much pressure in other areas, or we put pressure on ourselves in other areas from what the result could be. Because maybe from past experiences or what society has taught us, it could make us feel that we've already known the result, that it's going to be bad. But that's where we have to question it. And that's where we have to sometimes just find out. Sometimes we just have to lean into it. But I wanted to share this amazing thought that I've been kind of constructing myself of, like, every time I think I have fear in something, it's like, it's not even a bad thing anymore. It's like I want more fear. Because every time fear has come in and I've acted on that thing, it's made me better. Or it's made, it's given me the result that I wanted the whole time. It's like that fear is the one that gave me the result the whole time. And if you want certain results, you just have to get used to that feeling. You have to accept it, and then you'll begin to love it, honestly. Because then you'll just be like, dang, like, no, I want to feel this more. It's exactly right. And you'll see in a lot of different areas, even in the small things. Say you're just down and about, and like there's something new, or maybe somebody you were going to talk to, but there was something that stopped you from doing it, right? Stopped you from talking to them, or stopped you from taking an action on something. You start to see those things like, dang, no, like, what if I just did it, Like, what if I just talked to that person? It could be bringing me different results. Because if I don't talk to them, it doesn't give me the opportunity to bring different results. Because then everything just stays the same. I can bring in new energy to bring new results by changing something up. Like, the more people talk together and communicate, the more things change. The more energy is transferred over to each other. And then if we didn't have that, nothing would change between it, two humans or other humans as well. And if we just realize that in the little bits of our day, like we can make these little changes that could make our life better, that we could start growing for ourselves. And then every time you're like, you might feel that feeling of fear that you've called fear of something to stop you. You could be like, ooh, I have that feeling again. I need to go do that. Instead of, ooh, I have that feeling. I don't know. I'm going to sit here. That's fine. I'm not going to do it. So think about that feeling right now and just, what do you usually feel when you feel fear? Right? Kind of take it in for a moment and just, now that's the feeling you know you need to act on. And I'm not saying all feelings mean you have to act. I'm just giving you guys an example of like, sometimes our body already naturally tells us what we need to do because we've told ourselves what we might need to do. Or we have new areas we need to explore. Our body knows the areas that we haven't explored yet because it's uncomfortable. Like we've given ourselves, our own body gives us a cheat sheet and a roadmap to trying new things and being uncomfortable. We already know it. We just got to do it. We don't have to figure those things out. You don't have to try to ask everybody really what to do. You already know it. You just got to do it. And that's where the action piece comes in. It's like, whatever you're feeling the stress, you're feeling the fear. It's like, you just need to take the action on it. You need to lean into it. And the action isn't running away from it. That is nothing. Like running away from it usually means like you're just sitting in your comfort position. So just lean into it and do it. Thank you guys for joining my late night truck talk. Hopefully this provided some value to you and you can make better decisions on creating more growth for yourself and try to apply this to other things as well. I could probably go on forever trying to figure out each little bit of this, but I think you could spend some time yourself and breaking it down and just take the small steps. You just take one little step, you find something you're a little bit afraid of and you take action on it. You know, everything's baby steps, right? When you're a baby, you set that foundation. You got to play in the dirt first. You can't be cooking meals in the kitchen until you play in the dirt, build the foundation, build the walls, build the roof, build everything inside. Like you can't be sitting on the couch until everything is completed. So it's going to take some work. It's going to take a lot of work. The first time, it'll probably take out a lot of it. Like that's what the foundation is. It's like you can't put anything on top if you don't put that foundation down. So that first step's usually why it's always the hardest. Because quite honestly, it sets you up for everything else. And then everything else is just an add-on on top of it. You build there each time. Build your house in your new area, new territories. And each time you're going to get comfortable and then just build a new territory again. And you'll never stop growing. Easy cheat sheet. Go do it.